Hey, entrepreneurs, let's talk about strategies for increasing your surface area for luck. This is a concept you've probably heard before. There are hundreds of different ways you can essentially increase your surface area for luck, which by that we just mean increase the odds that lucky things happen to you. And what we mean by that is that we just position you in a way that increases the number of repetitions or chances there are for serendipitous events to work in your favor. But specifically, I want to talk about how to use this to overcome an obstacle. When you're feeling stuck, when you have a big goal you're working on in your business, but you're feeling a little bit stuck with something where you can't quite find a way to get around it without serious consequences that maybe you're not willing to accept yet. So I'm going to present just 3 ideas to add to your repertoire, to your tool belt of ways to increase your surface area for luck. This is when it's an important problem and it deserves a little bit of slowing down to think, to see if you can overcome it instead of just using brute force or hoping that time's going to fix the issue for you. First, I'll just list the ideas and then I'll go through and explain what I mean by each. So the first one's fairly self-explanatory. It's just to tell everybody the problem that you're facing. Don't keep it to yourself. And the second one is to engage your lateral thinking skills specifically for the problem that's holding you back. And the third one is to refuse to accept the rules and to ask for what you want. So going back to the first one, tell everyone what you want. So let's imagine a scenario where a person is in an apartment. They have a 2-bedroom apartment, but now they've got a kid who is taking up one of their apartment rooms, and they need a third one because they need an office to themselves where they're not sharing it with a newborn. In that kind of example, if you are the only one, you and your wife are the only people who know about this problem, you've decreased your surface area for serendipity, right? But if you tell real estate agents, you tell all your friends who live in the same city, you mention on social media, you tell everybody, including your current landlord, like, this is the problem that we're having. We're thinking about not renewing. You've dramatically increased the odds that good luck happens to you in the form of someone saying, well, it's not even listed. You're not going to find it through a realtor, but my friend was just about to put this condo on the market and I think they'd be happy to rent it to you instead. That kind of thing happens when you tell people that, hey, this is a problem we're solving. And I want to include in this for you guys to tell your team, like, this is a problem we're having. So let me know if you see a solution or think of something. Now let's talk about engaging your lateral thinking muscle. Again, what we're trying to do is increase the odds that good luck happens to you. And sometimes the best way to do that is to give your own mind prompts so that it can come up with ideas that you otherwise would not have discovered. So by lateral thinking, this is like a hat you put on where you stop just trying to think linearly about the problem. You try to think wide and completely different. You try to shift your perspective because sometimes you notice things that you wouldn't have otherwise. You come up with ideas that you wouldn't have come up with. Let me give you some examples of prompts that can help to spur your own lateral thinking. One is if you use I think of it as a constraint. Sometimes if you say, if I had to solve this problem in 3 days, how would I solve it? And sometimes you'll think of things that are different than you would if you just approached it the normal way. Other times it might be a 25-year time horizon. If you said, okay, if I gave myself 25 years to solve this problem, how would I go about it? And again, the idea here is not that you're going to instantly think of an idea that solves the problem, but rather it's going to prompt you to start thinking in different ways. And what you'll want to do is just start a list, try to write 10 ideas for that prompt. If I was going to take 25 years to solve this problem and I was in no hurry, but I just wanted a system that's pretty guaranteed to work, how would I do it? And just start writing 10 ideas, because what you're doing is you're stretching that idea muscle in ways that also causes you to start to have serendipity in the form of different thoughts that typically are kept separate in your mind, but they start to intermingle when you do this sort of lateral thinking, and you will discover ideas that you didn't know were in there in your mind as that intermingling, that cross-pollination of different aspects of your knowledge starts to come to bear with a list that is specific to solving a problem that you're facing. So with the apartment example, you might say a lateral thinking prompt might be, list 10 ideas for what I could do to solve this problem if I couldn't move, if I had to stay in this apartment. And suddenly you find yourself thinking about, oh, well, I guess I could ask the landlord if there is a way we could have 2 smaller point apartments joined together by opening up a door between them. What if one of the rooms could be divided in a way that was soundproofed and created an office space? There's just ideas that will come to you with a prompt like that. Another lateral thinking prompt comes from something many of you have mentioned to me that you use, that Tim Ferriss idea of asking yourself, what is the one thing that would make this problem either obsolete or irrelevant? And again, it's like, well, right now it seems extremely relevant. So like, what do you mean? But as you start to think about that, try to answer that question, it forces you into a lateral type of thinking to where, okay, well, if we shifted and our business model was this instead of that, maybe we wouldn't even have this problem. And suddenly the floodgates open for new possibilities that you hadn't considered before. The third strategy to increase your luck, surface area for luck, is to ask for what you want. And part of that comes from just practicing the art of being rejection proof, where you say, it's okay if people say no. So again, back to the apartment idea, you go to your landlord and you say, we wanted to move to a 3-bedroom, but the prices have gone up so much, we can't make that happen. So we're looking for something else. Could you lower the rate? Could you just make it like $200 more a month instead of $2,000 more a month? And you never know. Sometimes people have reasons of their own that you would not have anticipated for saying yes, or for presenting a compromised solution that you hadn't considered before, that was something that somehow solves a problem for them and for you. So ask more, ask for what you want. Now, this last bit is a little counterintuitive. It's a little bit tricky for some people to grasp what I mean by this. But sometimes what you want to do is ask yourself, for your industry, what rules of the game have you just sort of accepted? And if you rejected them, if you said, we're only going to play this game, we're only going to enter this tournament, so to speak, if we play by this set of rules that are different. What would happen, for example, if a plumber said, what if we played this game, but we rejected the standard industry expectation that we have 24-hour emergency service? If we got rid of that, could it solve this problem where we're trying to bend ourselves to fit this and it was creating too much additional bloat in budget? How could we have customers who are satisfied with a niche down version of our service where we did not offer that? And as a result, we were able to lower our overall fees because we didn't have staff available in the middle of the night, or we didn't have to have staff in a single location because we were able to move to different regions to take advantage of smaller markets that still had enough service needs when combined, but it allowed us to expand without having to go to a completely new, more competitive, larger marketplace. That's just an example of saying to yourself, I've probably accepted certain rules that we're all just used to playing by. What if I started rejecting some of them? And that's part of asking for what you want. But in this case, you're sort of asking yourself for what you want. You're saying, what am I willing to do to change the rules instead of just accepting them so that we can still win? And as you ask yourself that question, sometimes you'll see an avenue that was not apparent to you before to overcome whatever the obstacle is that's holding you back from reaching your goal. So here's your challenge for this week. Take these 3 strategies for increasing your surface area of luck and apply them to at least one goal and one obstacle that seems to be holding you back from that goal. It doesn't take long. This is one of those slowing down to think sort of exercises that might take you 5 minutes, but the outcome can be tremendous. It can save you so much time. It can save you so much effort and heartache if it unlocks a problem and allows you to achieve something faster. Talk to you again soon.